As the corporate sector evolves, Berkha Africa remains committed to cultivating world-class thought leaders and providing innovative, human-centered solutions that shape a prosperous future for African governments and businesses. About Berkha Africa. Berkha Africa is a platform that houses expert consultants from across the African sub-region that provide strategic sustainable leadership, organizational development, corporate governance, coaching, and ESG advisory services to businesses and African governments. Berkha's strategic thrust is to strengthen strategic alignment for Africa's development by bridging the gap between governments, businesses, and industry experts for leadership and business solutions, serving as a center for excellence and transformative leadership insights in Africa. The consortium is dedicated to shaping ethical, visionary, productive, and sustainable businesses and leadership across Africa. Through advisory, training, and coaching, Berkha supports executives, managers, and organizations in achieving excellence, growth, and sustainable impact. Visit our website www.berkhafrica.com for more information.
Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are, and welcome to this wonderful and amazing session today. We want to hear from you. If you are already here, just comment where you are joining from, your name and where you're joining from in the comment section, so we get to know and see the people who are currently live to listen to this wonderful and interesting conversation. So whilst we wait, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Eme Fadua. I'm a HR professional and data analyst. I have special interest in women and youth empowerment, and I also have very special interest in development initiatives. And today I'm going to be your moderator. So whilst we wait for people to drop their comments in the comment section, I'll go ahead and then talk about today's webinar theme. Today, we are going to talk about leadership, social change, and we are going to delve into how young women are solving global problems. There are so many problems in the world, and each day we have bold and young, amazing women, amazing men, youth that are solving global problems. And today, that is going to be our focus. This is organized by African Youth Leadership Program, which is by Berkha Africa in partnership with Center for Africa Conflict and Development. So before, we already gave a short video about what this program is about, but I'm going to talk a little bit about it. And it's the African Youth Leadership Program, which is hosting this thought-provoking webinar under the theme Leadership, Social Change, How People Are Solving Global Problems. And this session aims to spotlight inspiring efforts young Africans who are actively creating solutions to pressing social, environmental, and economic challenges. And this is a platform, it's going to be a conversation. It's a platform that is going to be for learning. We are going to inspire you. We are going to connect with emerging leaders. We are going to connect with innovators. We are going to connect and hear from change makers across the continent. So I want to see your comments in the chats. Where you're watching from. You put in your name and where you're watching from. Let me see the comments coming in. Okay, so what is the purpose of this webinar? At the end of this webinar, we are looking to inspire young Africans to take leadership roles in driving social and environmental change. So leadership, it's key. It's something we can't do without. We need to be able to take bold initiative. most of the times the young are often neglected, and we just walk at the side and we see what's going on. But we want to inspire young Africans to take leadership roles. We want to put in that inspiration. We want to make sure that they are not always sidelined, but they are also taking that bold initiative to take leadership roles. We want to showcase youth-led initiatives that are addressing social, global, and local challenges. We want to provide this platform to learn, to dialogue, to network. We want to encourage collaborations and mentorship among youth and leaders. So we are going to introduce today, we have two amazing people that are going to be the speakers for today. First on our list is Paul Nyama. And Paul Nyama is the country director of Operation Mobilization Ghana. He's a member of the OM International Global Resources Steering Committee, OM Africa Strategic Think Tank Group. He has a double master's degree holder in ADL Theology and Missions and a bachelor's of art in education administration. He is a seasoned change initiator, a strategic thinker, a holistic leadership development coach with over 20 years of global and cross-cultural experience in transformation, crisis leadership, and organizational growth. He's adept in driving sustainable impact across Africa and international missions, nonprofits, and executive leadership platform. You are welcome, Paul Nyama, to join us in this wonderful conversation. Our second Thank you so much for joining. Our second speaker for today is Kekov Atengle. Kekov Atengle is an executive director of Pax Africa, an organization he founded as a young person in 2017, and he has over 8 years of experience in leadership, and he has driven impactful interventions for government agencies in Ghana and also across Africa. He's committed to evidence information decision making and has supported initiatives to strengthen the capacities of young leaders across ecosystem. He has worked also with organizations such as CDD Ghana, which is Ghana Center for Democratic Development, Grad Burkina, Yali Africa, and the AEN Advisory Group, promoting collaboration, capacity strengthening. With basic for professional strength competencies and network across Anglophone and Francophone Africa, he positions himself to advocate and advance strategic support for capacity strengthening in the use of evidence for policy, practice, and socioeconomic development across the continent. So thank you so much and welcome, Kekov Atengle, for this wonderful conversation we are going to have.
Thank you very much for having me.
Great. So without wasting much time, we are going to go straight into the program. We are going to go straight into this wonderful discussion. And we are going to, I'm going to address my first question to Paul Nyama, because with the research I did, you are working with OM, and OM it's a Christian mission organization that often conducts evangelism, community development. They do social outreach, they do training, and their mission is to see vibrant communities of Jesus followers among least reached people groups everywhere. So I want to address this question to you with this very interesting background. I want to know from your view that what is it? What inspired you to take action on social issues that you are currently addressing, and how did you turn your idea into practical impact solution? Over to you, on your mind.
Thank you very much, MFR, and thank you, my co-speaker, and all viewers that are watching live online. I greet you all in Jesus' name. Yeah, and yeah, sure, yeah. Yes, if I may go back to the question that you've asked me, what inspired me to take action on social issues. Now, if I would have to give you a little bit background of OM, because I intentionally and willingly joined OM because of many reasons. And
Okay.
not only the religious aspect of it, but the social aspect of it as well, because OM is one mission organization by God's grace that is very much involved in social interventions in
Mm.
all the countries that we find ourselves. We operate in over 147 and counting countries, and we have over 125 nationalities that work with us across the world, about 4,500 plus workers
Mm.
or team members that we work with, networks across the world, and including our partners, and it will be much more doubled even the number. But now, if you listen to even our OM video, we say that we don't just show up and project our way of doing things or our thinking into people's thinking, if that makes sense. We
Mm-hmm.
always show up and listen to people. You know, the best way you can help somebody is to listen to them, because when you listen to people, you get their attention and you know exactly what is in their hearts. And
Yeah.
that's our focus. We want to listen to the hearts of people. What are the challenges of people? I'll give you an example. There have been hundreds and hundreds of NGOs across the world who go to places, communities. Maybe you go to a community, you just observe, you realize that, well, this community need a washroom, excuse my language. And you go put up a washroom, you realize at the end of the day, they are not using the washroom because you've
Mm.
not engaged them. There must be a
Exactly.
cultural or historical or even a religious reason why maybe they are not using the washroom that you supposedly want to build for them. you
Mm.
know so like we try our best to listen to people. We put our ears on the ground, as they will say it in Ghana, go close to communities, engage stakeholders, key stakeholders who are key players in societal transformation. So, and when we engage them, we know exactly how we can help them, if that makes sense. MFR, I don't know you very much, but like I can't just assume that, look, this is what MFR loves. Maybe you have certain things that you really love. When you touch it, it's like pressing the right buttons. But I don't know that. But let's have a very good and deep engagement with you, solid
Exactly.
conversation with a with an
Exactly.
attentive listening ear. So yeah, what really inspired us is that we realized that there are so much trouble, so much problems around. I keep telling people, I just want to be very, very honest, or precise with my words. MFR, you as a person, there's a high possibility maybe you have at least 3 to 5 problems that are problems for you in this life. You hope to solve them, right? Now, the world
Yes.
population is over 8 billion. So multiply that times 5, right?
That's a lot of
I'm
problem.
just going to be very basic. So we have over 40 plus billion problems on this earth. Nobody's interested in adding problems to these problems that we have. People want
True.
solutions to problems.
True.
And how would you know how to solve people's problem? By not listening to them. If you look at all the challenges that are going across the world and all that back and forth, because people don't have listening ears. It's just communication issues. Like maybe somebody said this and you heard this. I have a friend who used to say that he said, you will always hear what you want to hear. You know, imagine if I say, oh, MFI, you are cute. Maybe you heard like, is it kind to mock me or something like that? And I said cute and you heard something different. And
Hmm.
so what inspired me personally and the organization I work with, what is our inspiration is that the world is full of problems, whether spiritual, social, whatever you call it, in all aspects. And we want to see how best we address these issues and
Hmm.
how we want to address them or turn these ideas that we had into practical solutions is by engaging. We engage people. We intentionally engage people. We don't just engage them casually. We are
Hmm.
intentional about it. We are serious about it. We take it with all seriousness because we don't only care for the soul. Because when you talk about faith-based organization, we are
Hmm.
targeting the primary focus, which is the soul of somebody. We want
Yeah.
somebody to be saved, present the gospel to them. But after the gospel message has been presented,
What's
what next?
next? Yes.
There are
What's
issues
next?
that people need to be solved. And Christ
Hmm.
did that. He modeled that. When you talk about angels, it started with Christ. A lot of people don't know that. We talk about feeding program. He fed over 5,000 people. Who in our own time would single-handedly few resources feed over 5,000 people. He did that. He cared for people, those who were sick. Talk about hospitals. He started hospital. He was caring for the sick. Crowds of people were following him constantly because humanity always have problems that need solutions, and Christ provided solutions to those problems for people. So it's the same that we are believing. Like we don't always just want to look at the spiritual side of things. We look at the social interventions and all that. For example, in Ghana, the communities that we engage in, we do a lot of community based projects that are very much impactful in the eyes of the people and society as well. For example, as recent as just last month, we opened a maternity clinic with some of our partners from the Netherlands and other partners coming together. And that's going to serve over 40,000 people within the Gushegu township in the northern region. That's just an example of course, to complement other efforts of the government and other like-minded organizations. Yeah, I don't want to take time of my colleagues, so let me just stop here for now.
Great. Thank you. So with what I've heard, your focus is more of listening to people. You need to listen to people to know what is actually, because you see people, walking around. Everyone has their issues, as you said. We all have our issues that we want to solve, and no one wants to you want to add problems to people's already existing problems. You want solutions. It's everywhere, in the workplace, in volunteering opportunities, wherever it is. People are now focused on problem solving. So listening to people, reaching out to them with a word, and it's not only about focusing about the spiritual aspect, but also what next after. When you solve that aspect, what next? What is it that they are facing? How can we also support? And if you're able to support in that capacity, then we can see like a true and a more stable, relationship with you and God, spiritually and also physically, and also attending to the needs that we have. So thank you so much for that very important insights on how you are changing this narrative. The next question I want to ask, which will go to Kekov Atingley. With your background, I see that you're doing so many things. I visited your website yesterday, Pax Africa, and I was very much inspired. It was up to date, even as of October. We had reports showing what's the programs you've attended last month in Benin, youth-led Pan-African non-profit capacity development think tank, and you're working to influence and use research. I saw a lot of research, evidence-based policy making in development initiatives. So I want to ask you, since you started 8 years ago, or 7 years ago, maybe 2017, you have over 8 years of leadership experience. I want to know what challenges in your experience so far, what are your biggest challenges, your biggest barriers, young African, because you started when you were very young. So what barriers did you face when you were trying to lead the social change? And how did you overcome them? I'm curious, because you've done so much. I see the results, I see the impacts, and we want to hear from you, we want to learn from you. How did you overcome these challenges? Because I know definitely there are going to be challenges that embarrass you are going to come across. So let us know, and let the audience also get to know and learn from you.
Yeah, thank you very much, MFA and the audience. Building on from Paul's brilliant submission, yeah, before I come to the question of challenges, I think governance largely, as practiced on the continent of Africa, seem to be as though we're trying to paint a certain picture that we are not committed to flying with. And so we want to make things look like we are, in quotes, democratic, and we're trying to pander to the influence of some people outside of the continent. But it's about time we begin to look internal and to look at what our unique strengths are without pandering to the influence or the expectations of some other people. Africa is vast and diverse, but is equally well resourced. Yeah, starting from that, I think Paul mentioned the fact that the work basically tries to look out for what people have to say. It's about governance, all right? Traditionally, our governments have sought to make things look like they are the only ones who have a say when it comes to governance across the continent. But that isn't the case, and it's proven over time. The
Yeah.
challenges that we have been faced with and how we have managed those. The best approach that has proven viable over time is that we approach governance as a collectivity. And so governments over time have begun to realize the need to work together, not work together as in a checkbox kind of thing that, oh yes, we engage these people here, but we need to actively listen to them, what issues they are bringing to the table. So beginning with citizens with whom we hardly listen to. Very often when governments would want to engage citizens, it is the governments, trying to tell citizens what to do. So they
To
approach it from
do.
a communications perspective, outward looking, telling citizens what to do. But we don't give space to listen to their
Listen.
genuine concerns. All right. These are things that we're trying to work around, to feed citizens' perspectives, and we qualify those equally as evidence into the decision-making processes across Africa. Uh, there are um, stakeholders. Yeah, other stakeholders, uh, CSOs as well. There are practitioners, even within government, across agencies in government that we need to bring to the picture. There are professionals who may not be in government that we need to bring in there. There are some publications, even as well. There we don't need to also close our doors, overall to the external world. I mean, outside of Africa, beyond Africa, we need to equally listen to things from there. But pull all of these mixes together, right? So we're looking at the data that is
Mm.
available from the continents and then from outside of the continents, administrative data, the daily things that we have been doing through our administrative setups. Very
Mm-hmm.
often we hardly make use of these. We just treat them as checkboxes. We collect data. Anytime you're traveling at the passport offices, you submitting data. You go to the hospital, you're always submitting data. You're
Yeah.
enrolling in school, you're submitting data. But these pieces of insights hardly get used. So these
Mm.
are all administrative data that we admonish our governments and other stakeholders to tap into. International organizations as well are engaged, and we are looking for the most optimal, opportunities to advance some of these engagements, drawing on the insights, the collective insights. So research is, cannot be overstated. It is very important research locally, on the subject matter and as well as from other contexts. How have other contexts handled these issues when they got, exposed to them? We can draw lessons, practice, and draw on those to inform how we approach them when we get, faced with some of these. So these are all the perspectives that we come from. Now, talk of when we started. Yes, I started Pax Africa as a young person, 27. So
Wow.
just how looking
That's
at
impressive.
how as a young person I had that opportunity, before starting to advance some of these things. This is rare, you understand? So it means I started working somewhere around 23, 24, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but I was given
Putting
the
things
opportunity. And
together.
these
Mm.
opportunities were not systemic opportunities. I was fortunate to have had that opportunity to understudy some people, you understand? And then I drew insights from those, and then I got to deploy them in the field, and then it got validated. I learned, that exchange, it helps so much.
Mm.
So in Ghana, for instance, we have the National Service Scheme, which is a very good opportunity for growth. But very often people get posted and they are sent to buy Wache, Kofi Bookman, without giving them the opportunity.
The opportunity to learn on the ground.
I was fortunate. I did my national service at the University of Ghana as a teaching assistant, so it added up to the flair of facilitating learning.
Mm.
Uh, Growing up, also I had that Well, maybe I would say I was a natural mentor. I had young people around me, and I enjoy being around people who were younger than me. Then I assist them, I appreciate
To do
things here and
things.
there. Yeah, so I took that through until so when I had the opportunity to, after my national service, I got into the CSIR, Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, to do
Okay.
a 1 year voluntary service. There's somebody who had finished university. The expectation is that, after your national service,
You get
you
a
get a job and
job
start earning,
and
you
then get
know.
some good money.
I had the contract to give my service for free, but for 1 year, I knew what I was doing as a young person. It begins
Yeah.
from the mindset, of young people. We need to think through strategically. Knowing my background, I don't come from a family that is well to do, and so I knew the only asset I had was my competencies. Right, I didn't have networks that
Exactly.
I could fall on, so I
Yeah, you
offered
have to build your
myself.
network.
I offered myself. I went through that whole year of doing these stuffs. Then from there, I had the opportunity to be put on some major international projects, two major international projects at the same time as a young person. And then I started, delivering. I tried to deliver. You don't fail when the opportunity is given to you. So
Mm, mm.
that when no matter how small the opportunities is given to you, don't fail. During my voluntary service, opportunities were given to me, and because I feel I was given even greater opportunities that got me now on two international projects. So now I got compensated for the money that I lost whilst
Hmm.
doing the voluntary service,
Voluntary
right?
work.
Because I was
But
now
sometimes
able
it pays. It pays. It pays to do voluntary work.
that
It pays to do voluntary
I
work.
got to earn some good money from there. I built the networks that I needed and everything.
Exactly.
After those two projects, they kind of ended around the same period in 2016, 17, that way. And then it ended because it was donor funded, and then funding was finished. So, and I asked myself, so it's philosophical as well. I asked myself, what next? All these competencies that I've built, the networks that I have, what next? Do I now go pick CV to go and submit somewhere else seeking a job? What if I launch a job in a different field? I'm going to learn everything afresh again. You understand? So I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Why don't I start something? You see.
Mm.
So fortunately, then the opportunity also came to start something, a small project. But it can just easily overlook that or just abuse it also. But I took it on. I leveraged that small money to run us for like 6 months. So we got registered in 2017 March. We used that small money, stretched it for 6 months. Myself and my partner, my colleague, who we had started that at the time. And then after 6 months, it was finished. The money was finished. What next? You have to now without money. Before, so you see where the experience comes from. I could do that for another organization, voluntary, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this it is for me, doing it for
For
myself.
yourself. Great,
The
great, great,
inspiration
great.
is that if it works for me, right? So I could then put in the effort. And for like 2 years, we were doing work without getting earnings for. But fortunately, it paid off, and then things started getting better. And then we started recruiting. So all the beautiful, the amazing things that you're seeing on the website and all that is because of the team that we have in place now. Because before, case we couldn't afford, get the competence, and I couldn't do
Mm.
everything alone. So
Exactly.
we were growing. We brought in new hands to help the project, and fortunately, so okay, maybe I should end it here.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much. Turning your challenges into opportunities. There's so much that I've picked from what you have said. From the beginning, you said one of your biggest challenges is the fact that governments don't listen. They actually give you what they want you to do. They don't want to listen, which also resonates with what Paul also said, listening to the people, listening to the people. So we have to give like a people-oriented solutions, listen to the people and then give solutions that is going to help them. And also one thing I was thinking, but maybe you pick it up later, using data for your research. I don't know how accessible these data are for, and I don't know how if they have good management systems or information systems to store them. But maybe that'll be something we'll pick up later. And then, because that is what you need for your research, and also, it'll give you that evidence-based policy decision making. So thank you so much. And one thing I also picked, which I believe everyone listening should also pick, that you don't fail when you are given the opportunity. You don't fail. Make sure you don't fail, because you've put in the work, you've put in the effort. And then make sure that you are fully prepared, that when that opportunity lands in your hands, you don't waste it, because it will take another while for that opportunity to come. And so make sure that you are prepared for that opportunity. And once the opportunity comes, you don't fail. Thank you so much. Before we go into the next round of questions, I just want to take some comments. So we have people joining from Ghana. I see John from Ghana, Simon from Ashiama, Prudence from Sierra Leone, but watching from Ghana, cool. Pauline watching from Malawi. We have Elijah from Tamale. We have Mavis from Ghana watching, John watching from Medina, Ghana. Azuni, I don't know if I mentioned it rightly, following from Ghana. Richard from Tamale. We have Blessing also from Malawi. So we have about 3 nationals watching live: Sierra Leone, Ghana. Thank you so much for joining this session. Thank you so much. We are going to go and then take the next round of questions. And this question will be directed to Paul. And I want to know from you, Paul. You, from the first round of questions, you mentioned, or you talked a little bit about the collaborations. So I want you to delve deeper into how come collaborations between youth, governments, and then the private sector strengthen the youth-led initiatives. Okay. Kekov also mentioned about, partnerships between governments and other agencies, not only governments, but how can you also, have youth collaboration between the youths, one, with governments, two, and also not only government, but private sectors. How can these collaborations strengthen youth-led initiatives and accelerate progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals? We have about 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Each of them has their own focus and target. We have from no poverty, all the way to gender equality, all the way to. So I want to know from your side and the field in which you are having these social changes. How can these partnership how can governments, how can private sectors and youth accelerate youth-led initiatives?
Thank you very much, MFR, for that question. And I was just laughing and being challenged and inspired when I heard my brother. And he has a gentle way of saying a very strong truth, if that makes sense. He said the government don't listen. And so since he has said it, I'll just stand on his shoulder and use that word so that tomorrow he'll be held accountable and not me. Yes, and not realistically, when he said it, it struck me. And the truth is, every government have their agenda. That's why they have a manifesto.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in the first place, like I already have an agenda before I'm coming to you, and I'm working with timelines to make sure that agenda is fulfilled within a very short period of time, so that by the next time we go to the polls, I would have looked through you could have checked through the numbers and see whether we've accomplished the promises that we made. So that in itself, honestly or sincerely, it's not a good place to start, because it's like we are dealing with people who already have an agenda. They already have the end in mind. So whatever happens in between, from the start to the finish, only God helps, if that makes sense. So it's a crucial issue, because, for example, now I was privileged I went to a private university, and we call it PUSAG. I don't know if it's still in existence, because I was almost 15 or 20 years ago. And I was the local PUSAG president. PUSAG means Private University Students Association of Ghana. And at that time, we had about 52 private universities, even though some were not accredited by the National Accreditation Board. I'm building a point, you know. So like, so I've already been exposed to certain leadership, even student leadership back in college days. And it's amazing when you hear the conversations at that level, you know, at the university level. You could see the hunger, the desire for change and all these things. But fast forward over the years, you see that all these guys who were like really like heading student bodies, they are into politics and they have changed. I don't know whether it's politics that changed them or they changed when they enter into politics. I don't know. You know, so and talking about collaboration, I think it's something that we have to be very intentional about. You know, we have to make noise about it. You know, and thankfully, look, I don't have any political party I belong to. Maybe Christ Party, if that makes sense. But I've been seeing some initiatives lately, which is very much impressive. Somebody like Wodemaya, and I'm sure Wodemaya is a household name in Ghana. These are social media influencer who have recently been recognized with a diplomatic status. Thumbs up. Because you see, Wodemaya can go places that the government cannot go. Wodemaya can have a huge chunk of the youth population listening to him.
Exactly.
And even listening to politicians, because like, you know, we're in an age where I'll describe as a metamodernism era, you know, which came out of the postmodern era. And the Gen Zs and whatever Gen Alphas that are coming up as these young crop of people, they are not like very traditional like us. Maybe we are in between. We are like the millennials and come like, you know, they ask questions, they confront issues head on, they need truth, you know. So if there is not that collaboration, that cohesion between government and the youth vis-a-vis through other stakeholder agencies and all that from campuses and colleges and all that, there's going to be a gap, and that gap needs to be filled. And if it's not filled, it's a recipe for chaos, if that makes sense. I'll give you an example. You see, because government's not listening, look at what happened in Nepal. I think an 18 or 20 years old school boy caused the whole revolution in the nation. It's in the news. Nepal, a student made a very strong speech that overthrew the government. Just a student. And across the nation, all the Gen Zs rose up. Look at what happened in Kenya. Look at what happened in US, you know, Charlie Kirk and all that. These are all young people. They fall within the youth bracket, if that makes sense. So if you ask how collaboration between government and private sector strengthen youth-led initiatives is listening. Government has to listen to the young people. Because of course the young people have to listen to the government as well. And respectfully as well, young people have to listen to their religious leaders. Because especially when they preach to them and all that. I'm coming out from my background because to be told, if you look at history very well, even the European history of modernization, industrial revolution and all that, there was an era called the Protestant work ethics, which gave birth to the Industrial Revolution. And what was the Protestant work ethics? These were times wherein Christians said, you know what, we can't dissociate ourselves from active politics, even though we might not be politicians, but we can influence society, can influence politics by imbibing some of the Christian values into society. And they stood for it, they stood tall. And today, look at the Western civilization. You know, there are people who don't even go to church, they don't believe in Christianity, they don't believe in whatever religion, but they have those values, they upheld them because these are eternal values that have biblical history and biblical background. So young people have to listen to the government, listen to authorities, they have to be submissive to authorities, and the authorities have to listen to the young people. It's a two-way affair. If that doesn't happen, it will be difficult for any youth-led initiative to be sustainable or to be developed or to be like even the sustainable development goals. They can't just be achieved without engagement, active engagement, active listening and active engagement. You know, because if you look at the political landscape, there's a big gap, age gap. You know, there are people who are very old, people who are middle, and the younger ones. So that gap have to be bridged. Because there are a lot of things the older people know, we don't know, we need to learn from them. And there are also things that we, the younger people, know, the elder people don't know it. They have to come to us and ask so that we learn and grow together, you know. So that's one of my submission, that active listening and active engagement. If we miss out those two things, any other things will be peripheral, and it will be like more or less like we're just doing we are showcasing things which are not really tangible, if that makes sense. They don't have any impact or sustainable future or end. Yeah, that's why you see a lot of unfinished projects
Yes.
everywhere. I I've been to, by God's grace, a lot of countries within Africa, and it's like the same thing. When you're within CBD, like it's nice, beautiful. As you begin to move out to other places, you just see the same story, same narrative. Mean that it's a continental issue, it's a continental challenge. How can we address it? Government needs to listen. The young people need to listen to the government so that we work together and get things done.
Great, thank you for this insights. Government needs to listen, and the young people needs to be able to, submit to government. So it's a two-way. It's a two-way. Government must listen to the young people, and the young people must also make sure that they submit. They need to submit to the government and listen. So thank you so much. I think this will go a long way, because we see that most of this youth-led initiative, they have the interest, they have the vision, they have the mission, the vibe is there, and then they start this initiative, and along the way it just cramps up, and they leave it, and then they do something else. So if these two things come into place, we are going to see a lot of young initiatives, and these are even going to go into like private sectors, which can also help with the economy. It can help with the economic and everything. So it's key. It's key that the government will listen to what the young people have to say, even though they have their own plans. They also need to understand that we, the youth with the vision, also have our own plan and what we want to achieve. And if they listen to us and we also listen to them, two-way, it's going to improve, the economy. It's going to improve our social life, which indirectly links to the sustainable development goal, because the sustainable development goals is the well-being of everybody in this world. The well-being, have your good health, you have your, you're not going to be poor, you have you give everybody the chance, to do what they have to do. So it's very key. And thank you so much, Paul Nyama, for sharing this great insight. The final question, it will go to Kekov Atingli. Since you are more of evidence, you are more of research, you are more of data, I want to know from your side, what role has innovation? Now we have AI, taking over, data science, AI taking over, and you need data to be able to train these models to be able to perform well in respect to the AI. So what role has innovation or digital technology played in helping you design and scale your solution? So it's not only about having that solution. We have people solving problems, they have the solution, but on a smaller scale, how can these innovation, can this technical technology or digital technology, scale your solution, that you're going to move from a local, solving a local problem to solving a global problem. You're going to see, maybe if it's a product to solve issue, you're going to see that product, on international shelves. You're going to see that solution, cross through the local borders, maybe across Ghana borders. You've already started holding programs beyond Ghana, in Benin and other countries. We're going to scale maybe to European countries or to the USA or to the Caribbean. So how can these technologies, scale your solution from a local, solving local problems to now solving global problems?
All right, thank you very much. To start that question, I think I would aim for the first one you were asking for about the research. I mean, if people are responding positively in the systems to support research and all of that, our experience, yes. So much of the problems we face in Africa, structural, okay, as we continue to build infrastructure and taking time to stress these words, right? As we taking time to build infrastructure, these are physical projects, right? We will need to pay even more attention to the soft structures, all right? These are structures that we don't see with our eyes, but are equally important to holding our societies together and position us towards productivity and its outcomes, including social growth and all of that. So culture is one core component of such soft structures, right? More like an infrastructure, but a soft one. And the challenge now, let's zoom it now to research. The challenge with that is that we don't have a positive culture around research and of the use of knowledge resources in our development discourse and even in practice, right? So people on the ordinary or the average citizen across Africa will not want to respond to a questionnaire. For instance, if you meet them out, you approach them to try to fill out a questionnaire for you, they would want to avoid it as much as possible. But these are the very things, the very tools that help us aggregate insights from across the continent. I mean, from our areas to inform some decisions. So, and it also, you don't blame it too much on the average citizen. It's because as practitioners, also, we've not demonstrated value from some of these things. People go to the field, gather data, these insights, and then they leave them up on the benches and on the shelves. They don't get used up. So people don't see the impact of some of these things. And so they question themselves, what next? Why should I do this for you? Then the best sometimes they would want to do for you is to say, then you give me something in return for this. But this is not a sustainable way to go. Very often research projects have the least of funding for. So we try to maximize some. So it's about time we begin to invest in these soft structures, building a positive culture, for instance, around research. So it's something that personally I have committed to responding. It starts from the self. If you want to cause any transformation across society, look first at the self, then around your immediate circles, family, friends, and then you scale such things up. So personally, I have committed to respond to any of such demands that come to me concerning some research, some insight gathering, some perspective sharing, like this platform. I've chosen, it's a personal commitment I've made as much as
Mm.
possible to respond positively to. This is how and we share insights, right?
Okay.
So, and then we need to create as a society the structures as well that will make use of some of these resources. For instance, we're not just doing this discussion to leave it somewhere, but you are streaming it around the continent for young people to listen to and draw their own lessons from. This is how we are facilitating use. Previously, we could have done this like a video recording, and then it would have remained in your offices. You see,
Yes.
and then one time you may want to secure some streaming rights with a media house, a TV station, or a radio station to play it to some limited audience, and then it ends there.
Hence
But
there.
today, you see how innovation is feeding into the conversation. Innovation is helping us open up the space so we can make these resources available after the live conversation. The
Still
feed
a
is
bit.
going to be available for others who couldn't join live to come and then listen to if they are interested in these conversations. So this is how innovation is getting to facilitate the things that we do now for the work that we are doing. Um, yeah, the digital innovations are very important to decision making actually, and the entire gathering of insights and all of that. And then the synthesis works that we do all across the value chain of our work. Um, Artificial intelligence, big data is what we are gathering, machine learning, all of these um, systems are very important. And so it's about we looking at the value chain and the different activities that we undertake and to see, and just like the example I cited, to what extent can we deploy some technologies to facilitate a particular work that we're doing. You see,
Mm.
if you're to go to the field, collect data. Traditionally, you've gone with paper and ink, print things out, you go travel to the field. Can you begin to think out of the box to use social media? Many young people are on social media today. You want to do that to reach more people potentially. Otherwise, because if you do that only, also you begin to marginalize some people who may not be on social media. So if that's not the case, there are other technologies that can facilitate remote access. And we have deployed some of those in our works as well. Get to the field and reach out to them. They are still digital resources, right? That can help aggregate some of these insights, engage the people live, draw out these insights, make sure you return to the people, keyword, right? Go back after you've gathered these insights, facilitate their access to these insights, aggregated insights as well, synthesized, right? Share the insights with them, take them along with you that whole process. Whatever decision you are seeking, bring some representation to that, or bring the forum to their locality so that they can be part of that process. With this, we're beginning to shape their perspectives about the insights that you took from them from the beginning, and then how it is enhancing their own lives and livelihoods. These are just the surface ones. There's so much more to talk about.
Great. Thank you. Since we are running behind time, we'll quickly thank you so much for your insight. So, one thing I'm picking from yours is the social media, using social media to amplify voices. And what we are doing is just one of them. So, after this, we have people who can still go online, listen to what we have said, apply it in their daily lives, and help them in their decision making. So, thank you so much. I think what we'll have next, we have a question and answer session we want to take from the audience. So if you have any questions, please drop it in your comment section. We are going to answer them before you leave. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section before we wrap this session up. But whilst we wait for the question, we have a quick announcement to make, and we are going to show it on the screen now. Let your questions come. Okay, so we have this upcoming event. So we have Leadership Emotions for Decision Making, which is coming off November 5th. It's from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. So it's kind of like a full day, and it's going to be held at Fiesta Royal Hotel in Ghana here. It's limited to 15 to 20 people, so we can really have a small number to really impact, and it's going for 5,000 Ghana cedis. The link to register is down there, and so if you are interested, we are going to share it in the comment section. You sign up for it, you come and listen you come and listen and learn from this webinar. We have another announcement. Can we share the second flyer? I see there's a question. Let me see. I seem not to see the question. Is there any question? No. Let your questions come. Let the questions come, and we'll be happy to answer them. If you have any question, kindly drop your question. We would like to answer them. We'd like to hear from you and answer those questions. Okay, so there's a comment from Simon that is saying that, yeah, indeed, there is a gap that needs to be addressed. Yes, indeed. We need to address that gap, and it's on us. It's on us to take that initiative. It's on us to take that bold decision to be able to address these issues. We, the youth, we need to take that bold decision. Most times we see the youth are trying to, hide in their cool corner, taking the government to be taking all the decisions. And even though we have something to say, we are not able to say it. But let's take that bold initiative. Let's do our research. Let's give them facts as to why this is supposed to be done. Give them facts so that they can rethink and replan whatever they have on plan. They need to replan, rethink, and come up with a different initiative. So yes, there's a gap that needs to be addressed, and we must stand in to fill in that gap. Thank you for this affirmation, Simotete. Okay. If you have any questions, please drop it in the comment section. We are wrapping up. Keep the questions coming. Okay. Whilst we wait for the questions to come in, we have this other program we are having. This is a special offer. It's a special offer from Berkha Africa, Africans Grown Partners, and join the world's first international training transfer effectiveness conference. It's going to be held physically, and also it's if you're unable to join in person, you can join online as well. And we have this discount code, 5% discount code, because you join this webinar. If you put in the 781345 code, you're going to have this final. We're going to have this discount, and we have the original price from there, but the discounted price comes down to 807.50 CDs. And if you want to join virtually, it even comes even more down to 332.50 CDs. So please, if you are interested, this is going to be held at Global Audience. This is going to be held from 13th to 14th of next month. Okay, 13th. So you can mark your calendars and apply to be part of this wonderful conference. This conference is going to show you how to prove your ROI, that's return on investment, and REE for all your training investments. So if you are really interested, please, we have all the details over here. Register for, you can scan that QR code and register. So whilst we wait for the questions, if there are no questions, we are going to take our final words from our speakers, final words from Paul Nyama, and then final words from Kekov Atingbli. So we have one question coming in. We have 3 minutes to go. 3 minutes to go. We'll try and wrap it to be within time, so we can all. It's a Saturday. The rest, you do whatever you can. You know, if you have to cook, you have to do anything. You have to go for meeting. Yes. So how do you avoid the trap of thinking you can solve everything at once? How do you solve that trap of thinking? Okay, I'm going to direct this question to Kekov. Would you want to take this question? How would you want to avoid that trap, thinking that, okay, I can solve everything at once, but you have to take it one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a very important one that so it's so easy to get into such a trap that maybe things may be going well for you in one area, and so you want to scale up, but we have limited resources no matter how we do things. We are humans. Our bodies are frail. You know, we can fall sick, we die. We equally have limited amount of time. You see,
Yeah.
so there's so much we can do. So from that background, I think it's just about you having an introspection of how wide you are stretching yourself, and then you know facilitate delegation. You delegate things. So it's a reason you don't do this alone. You do it with some people. You need a team
True.
around, and that you can delegate things. You need to build around you a pool of people that are reliable, because if you delegate work that is assigned to you to somebody else, the person fails. It's not the person's integrity that is questioned. Yes, largely, but it has a
But it's
big
you.
implication on you, the one who was committed to do that work first. So we need to build a pool of reliable people around us. It's a reason we need to invest constantly in capacity development. It is something that we do at PAX very well. So we have a mentorship program that seeks to develop new leaders to replace some of us, so that they are competent enough to do the things that we have been doing. So I started as a young person, for instance. So at age 35, I retired, from that that I started. So we had young people stepping in. They had gone through our mentorship program, so they could be positioned to continue from where some of us started from. So that's just
Thank
one.
you.
My brother Paul will want to add something as well.
Okay. Paul, would you want to add anything that will take our final words? Our time is
He has
up.
said it all. Consult, engage, delegate, consult. We don't know it all. The day we know it all, that's the day we have realized that we don't know it all. And thankfully, that's why Berkha Africa is here. It's providing a platform wherein people can engage. People who have gone through the mills and have experiences they share. That's why it's so coaching, mentoring, and all those things. We need it. In our own world, we call it discipleship, and we are very much intentional about it. We disciple people, like bringing them together, the disciple in the same ship, taking them to where we want them to be. Yeah. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Any additional words from Kekov? No?
No, I think that's basically.
Okay. Thank you so much. Right on time. Thank you so much to all our speakers. I want to thank our speakers for accepting to join this conversation. And also thank you to we have one more question joining. One more question here. I don't know if you have time to take it. How reliable and safe is AI in terms of data collection? Maybe we'll take it briefly and then we round up. I want to thank all of you for joining. We really appreciate your time, making time to join this conversation from wherever you are, from Ghana, from Malawi, Sierra Leone, wherever you are. Thank you for joining, and feel free to share your insights on our social media platform. Tag us, Berkha Africa. Talk about your insights. Tag us, and we keep the conversation rolling. So. How reliable and safe is AI? Maybe you can take it briefly. Anyone to go? I can touch on it briefly, and then safe AI. In fact, AI is taking over, and AI is built on data. You need to train this model. So definitely, some way, somehow, right now we are kind of like vulnerable to data because sometimes they even take data. From you without even your permission on your phone. It's already checked in that they're taking the data, unless you have to go and then uncheck that. You open websites and the cookies, some of the cookies, they have the necessary ones, they have the others that take data from you. Even some of the apps that we use, you open the app and they'll ask you, allow app to track. You have to now click and say, allow, don't allow the app to track you. It's everywhere. It's like they are following you. It's crazy, but this is the world we find ourselves in right now. And it will be so hard that your data some way, somewhere is not going to be collected. It is going to be collected. And the moment you try to restrict your data from being collected, you won't have access to some spaces, you have access to some websites. So literally, it's like we are trapped. But maybe I want to hear from you also on this AI thing, because it's the new revolution and we can't do away with this. We can't do. The moment you do away with it, you're outdated. You But maybe let me hear from you and then we'll wrap it up. We are 3 minutes behind time. Who is going to take it?
I was hoping Paul would have started, because
Okay, then I'll just say something brief and I leave it to you. That's your field, actually. So I just want to say something like, just to affirm, some truth. Well, AI has come to stay, whether we like it or not. I want to reference scriptures, holy scriptures. Christ said it. He said, "The time will come. Whatever is even said under bed will be heard on rooftop." So it's not, if you are conversant with scriptures, this is not new for you. So that puts us on a lot of pressure to maybe live a transparent life and put things in check, because AI has come to stay. That's the truth. There's nothing we can do about it. Over to you, sir.
So that's why I wanted Paul to start, because I get to feed on the jet. The structural, like I mentioned, Paul just alluded to that as well. It has come to stay. It's about we making the most out of it. It's like when airplanes were created, invented. When the internet came, there's the ultimate good that comes from these. Even guns, weapons. they have come to stay, right? So these are all technologies that have come over time. They have their potential good, they have their potential ills. It's about us collectively thinking through what we want to do with it and what the limits we want to put in place for it. For instance, so the question from Simon is asking specifically for data collection, how reliable it is. And we all know, many of you who would have used AI tools know how AI, especially the generative AI, for instance, hallucinates a lot. Things that don't exist, sort of tries to make it look like they're real. That's the problem. It makes it reliable, right? But it doesn't mean we cannot make use of it. It calls for the more reason for human, involvement. So AI can never replace human
It can
beings.
never. It can never. That one for sure. It can
Validate
never.
things that AI will be doing to make sure that it's getting things done well. And just like all these other technologies which I mentioned, AI is made by humans. And humans, as imperfect as we are, means whatever we create cannot be that perfect. As we are seeking to perfect our own acts, including our lives here on earth, that we live longer, they are all acts of trying to be perfect, are working on our perfection. We are equally to be working on the improvements and perfections of these other resources and technologies.
Exactly.
That's my
Thank you,
girl.
sir. Okay, she's also joining us live. Thanks for joining. All right. So on that note, we bring this wonderful conversation to an end. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for joining. Do enjoy the rest of the day. And yeah, bye everyone.
Bye-bye, MFA. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you too. Yeah. Thank you.
We are a global community of Jesus followers,
united to share God's love with those who don't know it.
Thousands of peoples and communities
have never heard about Jesus.
Ever.
Since our beginnings, we have been driven by the deep conviction
that everyone should hear the gospel at least once,
in the way they can understand.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe.
We believe that the gospel has the power
to change everything.
So we go.
No place was too hard.
No people too far.
No idea too crazy.
No dream too big.
And our failures did not hold us back.
Tens of thousands have joined us.
And hundreds of millions have heard the gospel.
But we're not done yet.
We believe it is God's desire
to transform lives and communities.
And He wants us
to live out Christ's love and compassion
wherever we are
and whatever we do.
And transformation isn't only for new Jesus followers.
It happens to us too.
It happens to us too.
When we step out in faith, we start to change as well.
Our hearts are changed.
And so are our attitudes, relationships, and priorities.
We find the significance
in who He has made us to be
and what He has made us to do.
We are a group of people who don't fit a mold,
who don't sit still,
and who love the adventure of serving Jesus.
We listen first and don't just show up in a new place and project our way of doing and thinking.
We value building genuine relationships
in the communities where we live and work.
We'll wake up each day
with the confidence that the God who created the universe
is with us.
This embodies us,
empowers us,
and keeps us moving forward.
We believe everyone was made for God's purposes.
Our talents,
our gifts and our passions
are His tools in us.
If God's wired us to design, then we design.
If He wired us to teach, then we teach.
If He wired us to build, then we build.
We want our actions and our words to shine His light,
so that those we live amongst will glorify God.
We are united by God's love,
persevering in prayer, and committed to joining in His work
with generosity,
humility,
and joy.
We are OM.
We are OM.
We are OM.
Join us.